another season of Indians baseball.
Here's a list of players we'll be inviting to camp.
This guy here is dead.
Cross him off, then.
We'd love for you to come to spring training for a shot at this year's club.
By the way, you were with me last night. Who's this chick on top of me?
Would you still like to take a look at you at our spring camp?
Not sure I can make it by then.
Who is that?
Serrano.
What's his religion? Voodoo.
Hey! Who made Hayes here? Play like Mays, run like Hayes. How you doing? What the hell league you been playing in?
California Penal.
Don't you have any proven major league talent?
Now, I want to put together a team that'll help us relocate to Miami.
You want us to lose?
We've been losing. What I want is for us to finish dead last.
This year, the Cleveland Indians have a multi-talented team. The first offering, just a bit outside. They're masters of the sacrifice.
He's looking to sacrifice a live chicken.
One whole chicken, just like you said. The double play.
Excuse me.
I have a much better body than she does.
Big for me, she really does.
And the pickoff.
Every time we win, we peel a section.
Tom Berenger.
Super Stock.
Use your imagination.
Charlie Sheen.
These things make me look ridiculous.
Seeing's the most important thing, son. I don't think it's that important.
Corbin Burnson. And Bob Uecker. And with swings and crushes one towards South America. Major League.
Well, I got Skipper right here. And yes, Thursday we did lose a baseball sort of legend and we lost a legend in the entertainment world. Bob Uecker unfortunately passed away at the age of 90.
Never heard of him.
So why not do a tribute to him and review Major League? And I will do that right after this.
One of the best things about being an ex-big leaguer is getting freebies for the game. Call the front office, bingo. And once these fans recognize me, I probably won't even have to pay for my life here from Miller. I love them. These fans know I drink light because it's less filling and it tastes great. Good seats, huh? We're in the wrong seat, buddy. Come on. Oh, I must be in the front row.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
Good seats, hey, buddy. He missed the tag. He missed the tag.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that wonderful message from our beloved Bob. And no, not Bob Vila. That this is not the Bob of boredom. If you do want to see any Bob Vila rip-on videos, that's when you go and check out the VG Bus channel.
Nope.
But yes, this is not Bob Vila, so it is not the king of boredom. But if you want to see rip-on Bob Vila videos, yeah, you go to the VG Bus channel because they make fun of him and they do a very good job of it. But anyways, this is a little tribute to Bobby Uecker. Who was a baseball player. Let's just say he was maybe a little bit below average. He wasn't very good, but he did a good job of making fun of that. He, however, did know a lot about the game, so then he was, I believe, a commentator, and obviously we just saw he did some commercials. He appeared on a couple WrestleManias. I believe it was WrestleMania 4 and 5, maybe a couple others. Andre the Giant, there's a famous clip of him with Andre the Giant putting his hands around his neck and shaking him. So that is Bob Uecker, and of course he played Harry Doyle, the announcer of the Cleveland, at this time, Indians. So sorry if I just offended Generation Boring. That's what they were called. And this movie was also made in 1989. So now this does star Tom Berenger. He was in Sniper. He was in Eddie and the Cruisers. He was in Junction Boys, Major League 2. He was not in Major League 3. I wonder why. He was in, I already said the Junction Boys. He was in Third Watch for a little while. Let's see, Tom Berenger. Okay, and he was also in Gettysburg as well. And this also does star the very diseased Charlie Sheen, who, he's what? No, there's a little question here if Charlie Sheen was gay. Okay. But no, to answer the audience's questions, no, Charlie Sheen is not gay. He's got a few diseases though. So we'll just leave it at that. So Charlie Sheen, we know that he started out in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. He was in a stupid movie called Lucas, 8 Men Out, Wall Street, 2.5 Men, Platoon. You've never heard of any of those. Hot Shots, Hot Sharks, Powder Dew. Okay, so much for Charlie Sheen. So he is Rick Wild Thing Vaughn, and he's gotten in some trouble in this, so I guess it's pretty much his life story is in this movie. He is wearing orange. He's wearing the orange pajamas, which is probably what he's wearing right now. So, enough for Charlie Sheen. So now we will go to Corbin Burnson, and you do know who that is. Yes, you do. He was in The Resident. He was Nikki's dad. That is her name, right? Okay. Yes. So he was, I believe he was in LA Law. He was in a couple episodes of Seventh Heaven. And he was in The Resident a couple times. So that's Corbin Burnson. He is the third baseman, I believe, in this movie that doesn't like exactly diving for baseball. So he is a very rich baseball player, but with that, he's also very lazy. And then we have Wesley Snipes playing Willie Mays Hayes. And this is a different part for him because he's actually playing a funny character. And apparently when he did this movie, surprisingly enough, he didn't even know how to play baseball. I guess they, according to the director, he threw a ball so bad that he didn't actually do it in the movie. So I guess he didn't exactly play any baseball, but I did not expect him to throw a ball that bad either. I expect him to at least know how to do that. I mean, that's kind of weird for Wesley Snipes, I guess, who I thought would be somewhat athletic. Apparently not. So Wesley Snipes was in Blade. I think there were three of those movies. He was in Passenger 57, Murder at 1600, White Men Can't Jump. You never saw any of those? U.S. Marshals, you did watch that. Yes. And then he got in trouble for, I believe it was tax evasion. He didn't pay his taxes, so he did go to jail for a couple of years. So that is enough of Wesley Snipes. So we also do have the owner of the team, which is the really nasty Rachel Phelps. I believe her name is Margaret Wettig. I haven't seen her in anything. So I don't really know that much about her other than she did end up unfortunately passing away. James Gammon is the manager. He plays Lou Brown. And we all know he was in Wyatt Earp. No? He was Wyatt Earp's he was his father-in-law for a short time in that movie.
I didn't watch that one. I only watched Tombstone.
Oh, that's right. And he was also in Major League 2. So that is pretty much James Gammon. So this is the movie Major League. So Cleveland is having a slight... I did forget one. Pedro Serrano, who is Dennis Haysbert. And we know him. He is the Allstate guy. You remember him from the Allstate commercials? The guy that always says, "You are in good hands." Yes, he's not the Mayhem guy. He is the Allstate guy that always used to say, "Are you in good hands?" or something like that. And Are you in an expensive hands when you're with Allstate? Yes. So Dennis Haysbert was also in a couple other movies. He was in Mr. Baseball, Major League 2, Major League 3, Back to the Minors. Why he did that one, I don't know. He was also in the Pelican Brief. He's been in a couple other things as well. So, anyway, so Major League, this is about, again, the Cleveland Indians. And Cleveland has had this problem before. Oh, the owner wants to move the team. The weather's lousy. What? Duh. The weather's lousy, they don't get a big crowd, and plus, remember this is 1989, so Miami is offering to pay for a new stadium. They're offering her a nice little house. They're offering her I think it's a spa. I think it's also, a country club. So how could you turn that down? You want Miami or Cleveland? Oh, yeah, that's tough.
I'll do Cleveland. I don't care about the weather. I'm not driving to Miami.
Okay, fine. Well, if you had this kind of money, you could get somebody to drive you around Miami.
No. I wouldn't want that either.
Okay.
Maybe back then. Now I definitely don't.
Well, you'd have to deal with Tua being the quarterback of the Dolphins.
I still want to be a Dolphins fan, so I wouldn't even be watching football if I lived down here. And I didn't know you.
Well, that's the reason why she wants to move. I mean, they're offering her that much money. They're offering her money, I believe, as well. I'd have to show the actual clip. It is coming up soon. So she does want to move the team, but there's a lease with the city. So now she's trying to find some loopholes to kind of bypass this. And I guess it said if the stadium gets, below the attendance. So she pretty much brings in a bunch of outcasts to be very, very, very bad. So then if they can go below the attendance, finish dead last, she can move the team. And, of course, people in Cleveland are used to teams leaving. This happened to the Browns in 1995. The owner up and left and went to Baltimore.
So the Baltimore had two teams?
Well, that's a good question. Okay. All right, so I just gave the whole little carousel on the moving of teams here. So, but this does seem to be a common thing in sports movies. Any Given Sunday did something similar, and it was also a female owner being nasty like this. So anyway, so she is looking to move the team, and this so she gets a collection of, I guess, so-called misfits, and sometimes maybe that does end up working, that they do end up becoming a team, and the manager that she picked from the Toledo Mud Hens, maybe she should have picked a bartender or something like that, because this manager actually did get these guys to play. Now, this is also, I know sports movies don't exactly jump out on YouTube, but this is a comedy, and a lot of people did like this. Some people even consider this the best baseball movie of all time. So now I will show the first clip of Mrs. Phelps, the ex-showgirl Mrs. Phelps. I will show her little plan here that she's showing the GM of the Indians. His name is Charlie, and she's going to tell him her little plan of attack. So I will show that clip in just a second.
Toledo Mud Hens in the International League for the last 30 years. I think he'll fit right in with our team concept.
What exactly is our team concept?
That's what I wanted to talk to you about, Charlie. I want to put together a team that'll help us relocate to Miami.
What do you mean? Some of these guys are furniture movers?
Capacity 45 VIP boxes. And for me, a mansion in Boca Raton, plus free membership in the Palm Beach Polo and Country Club.
Relax now.
Now, no other franchise in baseball can match that deal.
The league will never let us leave Cleveland. We got a lease with the city.
The lease says we have the right to move if the attendance falls below 800,000 for the year, paragraph 4 lines.
Well, I know I'm supposed to say, isn't she nasty? I'm not going to lie. I would take that deal in a heartbeat. I would do whatever it would take to get me out of Cleveland. I would take the mansion, take the stadium, and boy, would I take the money. I'm sorry. Would I sell out? Absolutely. I would move the team in a heartbeat. I am on her side.
Now, if you want to stay in a relationship with me, you want it.
Oh, plus a country club, I could play golf. Oh, I would take that deal in a
You would go around the corner and play golf.
I know, but that just sounds. I mean, that's
I'm
a
not living
deal.
in Miami.
Oh, okay, fine. I would have enough money where we could stay here and own a team at the same. I'm just saying, I would take the deal and get out of Cleveland. Is all I'm saying. I'm sorry, I just made Generation Boring mad. But this is a really good deal. How would you not take this?
Very easily. Say no.
But I mean, I really do see her side on this. But of course, it does make for a funny movie. And wait till you see some of the outcasts that they do bring in. And Lou Brown is probably that was probably her mistake, and it ends up being, like I said, it ends up costing her. And you will like the character as the movie goes along. He does make you laugh. Okay, now I'm trying to remember where I left off here. We had to do some technical difficulties. Oh yeah, so anyway, so I was saying how I am with her on this. I do understand why she wants to leave. So now what people have to understand is this is baseball. There is, for those who don't know, there is 162 games. So even if you drop 30 games, you still have a slight chance to get better. So let's just say something like this does happen. So now I will show the next clip of their first player that they maybe should have stayed away from, Jake Taylor, who is in the Mexican League. And yes, he's actually eating better food than we are. So I will show that clip in just a second.
Yeah. Oh, Jake, this is Charlie Donovan, the new GM of the Cleveland Indians. Yeah. We'd love for you to come to spring training for a shot at this year's club.
Is that you, Tolbert?
What?
This is very funny, you know. I'm hungover.
My knees are killing me, and if you're gonna pull this shit, at least you could have said you were from the Yankees.
Oh, this is Tom Berenger playing Jake Taylor. He's obviously in the Mexican League, and I really do like that sombrero. I wonder how much that cost. I want to get one just like it. So anyway, so he...
That's me, you ain't.
So, I guess when he said it was from Cleveland, you could see the reaction. He's not exactly jumping out of bed, jumping up and down, saying yippee. So, he actually thinks it's a prank. So, I'm sure when he finds out, I'm sure he's going to say, oh, I kind of wish it was a prank. I don't really want to play there. But now we do get to meet Lou Brown. The actor, of course, is James Gammon, and he actually he manages the Toledo Mud Hens, like I said, but he also works at Tire World. So I will get to show you Lou Brown in just a second, and hopefully you will find him as funny as I do.
Tire World.
Oh, look. This is Charlie Donovan with the Cleveland Indians. How would you like to manage the Indians this year?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know? This is a chance to manage in the big leagues.
Let me think it over, will you, Charlie? I got a guy on the other line about some white walls. I'll talk to you later.
Hey, we heard about you.
Well, this is Lou Brown. I just love the annoyance when he was on the other line there. They're offering him to coach in the big leagues, and he would rather answer questions about tires and white walls. So that is pretty much his voice throughout the whole movie. So imagine that. I do like him yelling at a couple of the players too. He makes the ones do push-ups. He gives Corbin Burnson a really hard time, and he's the lazy rich third baseman, I do believe. So he seems to yell at him a little bit, and he also pees on his contract. So Lou Brown is definitely one of the he is one of the better characters in this movie for sure, and I hope that you do like him as much as I do, as I will try to show as many clips as I can without giving too much away. So, Next, we will meet the true criminal of this movie, Charlie Sheen, wearing the orange pajamas, which we all have seen him in several times. And I'm sure he is a popular villain on Reddit since they love to mouth off to him. And also, they have nightmares of Charlie Sheen and Ric Flair at the same time. So, I will now get to show the clip of Charlie Sheen.
I'm not really with them anymore. Well, we'd still like to take a look at you in our spring camp in Arizona March the 1st. Well, I'm not sure I can make it by then.
Well, everybody probably recognizes Charlie Sheen. And yes, there he is in the wonderful orange jumpsuit. So hopefully he will get out of jail. He plays Rick Wild Thing Vaughn. He has great velocity, but he has some control problems. Once again, I think maybe Rachel Phelps could have went with somebody that had slow velocity and really bad control problems. I think this is where it goes into she didn't really scout these guys quite enough. Or maybe she didn't think he was going to get out of prison on time. I don't know. But now we will just meet just a few more characters in this next clip where they're kind of all meshed together. So you get to see the wonderful car that Roger Dorn has. That's Corbin Burnson, who is in L.A. Law. Go figure, he's in a movie like this. And then we'll meet Willie Mays Hayes, even though he wasn't invited to camp. He just sort of invited himself. I guess he fits into this whole thing. And we get to meet Pedro Serrano, which is played by Dennis Haysbert. And yes, he moved from Cuba for religious freedom. And his religion is voodoo. So it's a very interesting cast of characters. So I will show you that clip in just a second.
Voodoo.
Yeah.
About Dorn, because he's only high priced. Picked him up as a free agent 3 years ago.
Still hits the ball pretty well, doesn't he?
Yeah, just can't feel it.
We'll shake him up.
Hey! I don't recognize this guy.
Say hey! Willie Mays Hayes here. Play like Mays, I run like Hayes. How you doing?
So this is sort of the rest of them. Pedro Serrano, the Cuban crusher, arrived. He's the guy with the bald head. And Roger Dorn, played by Corbin Burnson, shows up in his nice little fancy car there with his golf clubs. And, of course, Willie Mays Hayes, who's played by Wesley Snipes. He shows up and nobody recognizes him, so they just sort of let it slide for a little while. But it does catch up to him. They eventually do figure it out. So, this is the interesting team here, and Lou Brown does say at the end that this is his kind of team. So, again, this is a comedy, it's goofy, it's fun, and so far it is. This is a movie that is enjoyable, and when I was younger, the funny story is when the second one came out, we were happy about it, but it also had a PG rating. So when my parents rented this movie, they did it not knowing that it was rated R. So that was kind of funny. They had to watch it first before we were able to watch this. So this was my first R-rated movie. As funny as it was funny at the time. Yeah, yeah. My mom kind of flipped out when she saw that on the Blockbuster box there. So it threw us off because the second one was PG and this one was R. So I was young, so we were not allowed to see R-rated movies at this time. But this one is just a lot of bad language. That's pretty much it. So, anyways, let's see what happens to Willie Mays Hayes when they find out that he is sort of trespassing in a way. That's how he stays.
Who the hell is that?
I forgot which part I was at. Well, this is not what these complexes look like anymore. These are the old training camp. I know they kind of look like summer camp in a way. But this, I guess, is what they used to look like. So, I guess this is what happens when they find out you're trespassing. They just pick up the bed, carry you out, and he thinks he got cut, so then he just outruns the other players, and they pretty much get him a uniform. So, again, this is a tribute to Bob Uecker. So, I know, where is he? Well, he hasn't really done any of the spring training stuff, so he hasn't been introduced yet. So, we are now going to meet Harry Doyle, and of course it is Bob Uecker, and we get to see him in the very next clip. And he is the voice of the Indians with a nice whiskey bottle beside him. Because if you're in Cleveland and you like your sports, you gotta have an alcoholic beverage. Because it will numb the pain of Cleveland sports. So I will show you that scene in just a second.
Well, will it help for the Sabres? Because they suck too, so.
Ooh, I forgot about the Sabres. They're very forgettable.
Because they suck.
Well, I'm talking about major money sports. And I will show you that clip in just a second.
Welcoming all you friends of the feather to another season of Indians baseball. A lot of new faces in Chief Wahoo's tribe this year as they take on the defending American League champs, the New York Yankees. And hopefully we'll have some of the names that go with those faces before their first at-bat. Anyway, listen to the roar of the crowd as the Indians take the field.
Trying to remember where it was.
The guy that just died.
Oh, yes. Well, so this is Bob Uecker as Harry Doyle, and he is trying to liven the radio crowd up a little bit, trying to pick up any type of noise that is at the stadium, and he doesn't get a whole lot of it. And then he also, I didn't get every clip of him yet, but he did, he mentioned that there was a free admission to anybody still alive the last time that the Indians won a pennant, which was 1948. So, and there's little jokes in here about that. And then also one other part that I didn't show was that Rick Vaughn came out to make his debut, and he missed the batter by a mile, and he said just a bit outside. So he obviously does fit this part really, really well. And he does really make this movie funny. People talk about Harry Doyle all the time because he was the voice of the Indians in these movies. I'm sure the Cleveland Indians fans probably wish that he really was the voice of the Indians. He would make them just that entertaining. So now the team is bad, but they're not as bad as Mrs. Phelps wants them. So instead of well, she can't really make them worse or anything. So what she does do is she takes some things away, and she starts with the team's jet. But it's okay because they get another one. So I will show you the new team jet of the Indians in just a second.
No, that's not your plane. Yours is this one rolling in.
So she took the plane away from him and go and grab which one?
Well, if you thought the outside of the plane was bad, boy, did you check out the inside? I think I would feel safer taking a Malibu plastic engine in the air than riding in that thing. It looks like it can fall apart at any time. At least I know the engine will at least keep me afloat for a couple seconds, and it's plastic, so it's light. So, anyways, so now I will, she's obviously taking things away, and she does take some other things away as well as the movie goes on, because she really wants these guys to be as bad as possible. So, at least she keeps their salaries, I guess. I don't know what the league minimum was back then, but All I know is I think in 2009 it was $200,000. That's not so bad. I don't know what it was in '89. So, anyways, I will show another clip with Harry Doyle because, like I said, this is sort of a tribute to Bob Uecker, and this is one of the only things I have with him in this, except for a couple WrestleManias. But I'm not going to show those because WWE is horrible with copyright stuff. So I will show you the next clip of Harry Doyle using some colorful language on the air, and this kind of adds to the comedy of the movie, so I will show you that in just a second.
So we got one goddamn hit.
You can't say goddamn on the air.
Don't worry, nobody's listening anyway.
You bored? Where does Tom take it?
So I know that this doesn't seem like that's that bad, but you can't say that, at least you couldn't say that on the air when I was a kid, because if people did swear on radio or TV during a sports broadcast, they would actually get fined for saying something as minor as that. So I just thought it was kind of funny at the time when I did see this, because I've just never seen that in a movie, in a sports movie before. So I thought it was kind of funny. But again, this is once again a tribute to Bob Uecker. So I'm trying to show as much of him as I can. So now there is a little love story here with Jake Taylor ran into an old girlfriend. She's a librarian, so he ran into her. He wanted to try to get with her, and she's with somebody else, and she's also engaged to her. So that's a slight problem for him. So he decided to, he got the idea from Willie Mays Hayes to stalk her with his really beat up car. So he followed her to her supposed house. We'll see whose it is in a minute. And he decides to drink a little bit and then get the courage to drop by. Let's just say that. So, yes, for any Reddit viewers, this will give you nightmares because this is a guy stalking a girl and asking her out. Something Reddit people don't do. So I will show the clip. We're going to find out whose house he's about to drop into. So this is going to get interesting. So I will show you that clip in just a second. All right. Thank goodness. You're the one that decided to get down. Well, this is awkward. So he shows up at the fiance's house, but it's also a very boring dinner party. It's pretty much like being on today's PGA Tour. Pure boredom. I can just imagine what they're talking about there. At least when Jake Taylor gets there, at least it would liven things up a little bit. Not much, but a little bit. Obviously, he turned redder than Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. So I'm sure he was a little bit embarrassed here. So now with this aside, so now he met her fiancé pretty much face to face, which I don't think he wanted to do. And then he also met his really lame friend. So moving on from this scene, so Rick Vaughn has had some control problems. I'm sure he's had some control problems behind the scenes as well, which we've discussed. But there is a reason for it, and Lou Brown finds it. He has a vision problem. So he decides to get this, I guess, wild, this wild man some glasses, which I guess does add to the comedy of the movie because this guy is kind of a bad boy image, and now he gets a pair of Coke bottle glasses. So I will show you that scene in just a second.
You can't read them, can you?
Oh man, they look nice. I had a pair just like them.
Well, after the game, I'm going to pick out a pair that's more me.
Good luck.
They look good. Besides, seeing's the most important thing, son. I don't think it's that important.
Okay, that's good. All right, well, it is getting a little bit chilly in here, thanks to the cold front from up north. So
It's 50-something. Stop being a baby.
I'm gonna be a baby. I'm
What
gonna
else?
need a pacifier tonight from all my complaining. So, anyways, so the clip here is kind of interesting with Rick Vaughn with glasses. So, yes, I've had some trouble with this disc. It did tend to skip a lot, so I did clean it up enough, but I am going to show one more clip, and it's pretty much the Cleveland Indians improving quite a bit, and obviously this makes Rachel Phelps incredibly upset. Some of the clips I did not show is some of the other things that she took away. She took away the therapy equipment, so hot water, bandages, some of the other things for their arm to warm that up so they don't so their arms don't get as sore was taken away. Their bus, they got a kind of a end of the line tour bus, so it was a very uncomfortable road trips. So she tried to make things as uncomfortable as possible, but they started to improve. So she started to notice that. So the GM told Lou Brown that they are pretty much done either way. Even though they're starting to show promise, she would get rid of those players because they're probably on one-year deals or not guaranteed contracts. So I will show the final clip of them starting to slowly improve, and then I will go through the rest of my review. So I will show you the last clip in just a second. Yeah, he's still home. So the thing that I am going to mention that I don't think I have yet is that I did say that this was a comedy movie, but they do throw in some pretty cool things that actually have to do with baseball. At the beginning of this, with the spring training, they showed the red tags for them getting cut. This isn't just a pure comedy that doesn't make any sense. They actually do show some type of training and them starting to improve. They also show the fans having the Wild Thing t-shirts, and the bars are full. And being a suffering Bills fan, I can kind of relate to this kind of stuff. The team starts out slow, and then they start to win. You start to wear the shirts. People are a lot nicer to each other. Cleveland and Buffalo are pretty much in the same boat. Okay, so anyways, so yes, so like I said, Cleveland and Buffalo almost in the same boat. So anyways, the bars are full. Buffalo, it's got a ton of bars. Cleveland, I'm sure, does too. So anyways, so the last clip that I'm going to show is pretty much the training. I don't know if did we have the fans in that one? Did it show them? Because
Again.
I apologize. We already showed the last clip. I just forgot if the newspaper scene was in what I just showed. Okay, so the newspaper was there. So they do show some realistic things that would happen with baseball, but to have an actual team like that come in and do that well probably wouldn't happen, but it's a good story, and it's a good Hollywood story. If you haven't seen this movie, I do recommend it. It's definitely worth a watch, or two, or three, or four. It's one that I used to watch usually when baseball season did open. This is definitely one that I would like to start with. But I'm reviewing this earlier because, like I said, unfortunately, Bob Uecker passed away. So I didn't show a lot of clips with him, but if you just want to watch it for that sake, I recommend that. If I had to grade this movie, I would definitely give it a strong B. Obviously it's not an A+ movie. It's not meant to really win awards or anything. It's just it's a fun movie. It's a fun baseball movie. It's a fun comedy. It's sort of, I guess I consider it sort of a smart comedy in some ways. Now, again, there are sequels to this, and that's pretty much, maybe eventually I'll review them, but watch them if you dare. What do you mean no? And Siskel the Grouch and Ebert King of the Toilet Chair did not review this movie, but they did review the second one. So they were probably on vacation. Siskel the Grouch was doing something boring and dull, probably in his trash can, and Roger Ebert was on his toilet chair or taking his daily vacation to Wendy's or his colonoscopy. So they did not review this. So this movie I definitely do recommend seeing if you haven't. So comment on this. I mean, did you like it or did you think it was complete garbage? So yeah, so please comment below, subscribe if you want, and thank you for watching.